the state should be considering, not here. The problem of religious war, we started as far back as 1938 in this country. Let it not start here again. Let it not be that it is this house that is going to put fuel to the very fragile democracy, to the very fragile situation, the unity between us. It's very important. As we are talking now, people are hearing us. People are seeing us, thinking that we want to promote one religion over the other. I therefore pray that we step this down for the time being. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Of an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to review the description of Islamic law in the Constitution as related matters, HB 1502. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Yes, sir. Kwakwansia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Hassan Sheikh Hussein.
Distinguished colleagues, briefly, as the Speaker requested, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, Mr. Speaker, provide for a personal Islamic law in the Constitution. The Constitution did not envisage the dynamism and the development coming off in the country. In 2003, the Constitution did not recognize that the Islamic commercial law, Islamic company law, Islamic international law, Islamic public laws. In 2003, Mr. Speaker, Taj Bank came up under the commercial Islamic law. In 2019, another bank came up under the commercial law. That means the Jaiz Bank, not the Taj Bank. The Jaiz Bank was in 2004. The Taj Bank came in 2019. Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at the personal law, it only encompasses marriage, divorce, and the inheritance. Therefore, what I'm requiring is the removal of the removal of personal in section 24 of the Constitution, section 262, section 277, and section 288, so that other relevant laws like the the commercial law, Islamic commercial law, the Islamic company law, the Islamic international law can have a place in the Constitution. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is what I want the honorable colleagues to support so that this amendment can be done. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mr. GENOC1DE, I think, is in the right direction to give a back-off for the commercials and other laws that already they are practicing without proper backing, particularly in our Islamic-related financial institution of not only limited to Taj Bank or Jaiz Bank, but there are several banks that are now practicing, particularly the Mudahara and the other sharing formulas. I think this is a very welcome development that it will give even an economic leeway for the nation to see the goodness of such practices in our financial institution to get the back-off of the law. I do support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes, Bob Solomon, please.
Solomon Bob, from the great state of Rivers. Now, this matter, actually, I think it will be dealt with in better technical detail at the committee level for constitutional review, because there's so much to say about this kind of. Okay, I'm sorry. I was told you were not listening to me. I'm saying that this bill will be better dealt with, in broader technical detail at the level of committee for constitutional review. But straight off, the section you're referring to, if it is removed, the word personal is removed, the implication immediately is that Islamic law will now have a general application with respect to criminal law across the country. The word personal there was put for a purpose. So if you remove it, that's the implication. It will have great consequences. So we can look at the details of what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, and advise at the committee level. With respect to the references made to Taj Bank and Jais Bank, their operations have not been in any way hindered. There are regulations dealing with those matters concerning banks, CBN Act, and all the rest of them. So those are matters that the banks can deal with. They don't have to incorporate, or attract or drag interest with respect to commercial ambitions to the Constitution. So essentially, Mr. Speaker, my point is, this bill should be referred to the Committee on Constitutional Review, where we can sit down and then look at, it to a T in every way. Thank you.
Thank you for making it brief. I like
the Federal Constituency of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I want to, with respect, differ from the mover of the bill on the need for us to amend the Nigerian Constitution in this particular instance. And I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because as students of history, we all know the issues surrounding the particular section in reference, especially at the various constituent assemblies leading to the 1979 Constitution, the 1989 Constitution that was not promulgated, and now the 1999 Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the drafters of the Nigerian Constitution are very conscious of the secularity of the Nigerian nation, and also very conscious of the sensitive nature of religion. And I remember the 1976 Constituent Assembly, the 1979 Constitution, was very, very contentious on this matter until the then federal military government came in to stop further debate on this matter and took a decision that the application of Islamic laws will only be constrained to personal matters, which has to do with administration of estate and some other issues. Mr. Speaker, we have to be very, very cautious of whatever we do to alter the Nigerian Constitution in a manner that will further widen the divide that we have as a country. And in any case, Mr. Speaker, like my previous colleague said, the matters which my colleague seek to address by this proposal is already covered by existing laws. The Kama law, covers regulation on issue of finances and allows for application of Islamic principles of financial transaction. The same thing with the CBN Act, like you rightly said. And the moment we allow the Constitution to be altered to take care of all manner of interests, we will no longer be in the state where the sanctity of the Constitution is respected, and the intent of the drafters of the Nigerian Constitution via or as regards to the secular nature of the Nigerian nation might be threatened if we allow this to go on. Mr. Speaker, I sincerely think that this bill should not pass on for the second reading for these reasons I've adduced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Abdul Hakim Kamilu Ado, representing Udilgarko Federal Constituency, Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I would like to make it brief to say that while being cautious, but we have to consider, and considering also the divisions we have in this country, we have to consider the ethics, the values, and the interest of the masses. Because we are here in this hollow chamber to represent the Nigerians, and also not to make a religion or a tribe or a community, not to constrain them from practicing something which is their way of life. We all know that Nigeria comprises of so many religions and also tribes and communities. But these religious matters, we consider it as a way of life, not just a mere religion. So considering the ethics and the values and the interest of the masses, not looking at the division or being cautious of what this will cause, Mr. Speaker, I think this bill is supposed to pass for the second reading. In my opinion, Mr. Speaker, we need to commend the Honorable Misau for coming up with this bill in order to unite and to create a room, free room or an interest for people that are practicing Islamic religion to practice their religion freely and to consider some way of life which comprises so many things. Talk less of the commercial that he talked about. There are so many things we need to consider in order to encompass it under this bill. If at all we are considering this bill to be passed via the committee, then, Mr. Speaker, as you said earlier, that we are here as parliamentarians in order to pass bills, and it doesn't have to go through the committee. So we can pass it, and then later on the committee can consider what they can do about the bill. But we are here to debate it, and we are debating it. So let us go on with the debate, and later on consider what we can go with in this hollow chamber. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much,
Speaker. My name is Honorable Isa Muhammad Anka, representing Anka Talata Mafra constituency. I'm from Zamfara State. My able speaker, our honorable colleagues, I wouldn't want to dwell on issues already spoke by the last speaker. In other words, he has spoken my mind. But the other speaker, the last but one, talked about karma. Karma is already embedded in the constitutions. Therefore, it takes care of other commercial laws. And I think we need to understand the subject matter of this bill. The bill is calling for description of Islamic law. In other words, the bill is seeking the House to define, because of the existing situations now, looking at the issue of, like he rightly caught, other commercial laws that have not been embedded, that have not been taken care into the Constitution. I think it's a straightforward bill. He is not calling the fact that, he's not calling for expunging the existing Sharia law, but rather to define it in order to encompass all those, existing situations that have just come up. That is my contribution, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's not talking about Sharia law. He's talking about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So that we get it right, his bill is about the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not the Sharia law. Okay, Jonathan, please, let's hear you.
My name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida, Bako, Kacha Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I think we need not lose sight of what the proposer of the bill intends to achieve. I understand how sensitive matters related to religion are, especially in this country. But the fact of the matter is we cannot treat religion issues in isolation. There are issues that we must bring to the front burner and discuss, irrespective of how sensitive they are. I didn't want to stand, but I looked at the sensitivity. Even from the argument, you could see the sensitivity that is driving the sentiment that is driving the argument. But if we focus,
Honorable Ali, approach the chair.
If we focus on what the bill intends to achieve,
Honorable, approach the chair.
The bill intends to review the description of Islamic law, which means it's already enshrined in the Constitution. What it seeks to achieve is to review the description. So it's already in the Constitution. I don't understand why we will see it as something that will lead to snowball into a crisis or what have you. This is what we have done that over the years that has led us to not make progress on certain issues. It doesn't matter how sensitive these issues are. We must be able to debate them. This is what our people sent us here to do. You know, if we run away from discussing a problem, if we assume it to be a problem, and we're running away from discussing it, how will you provide a solution to it? I will agree and accept the fact that there is need for further, broader consultation. But for us to run away from the problem, for us to drop it and say it's not an issue to be discussed on this floor, I don't think it's something that is acceptable. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
My name is Honorable GENOC1DE. I represent the good people of Yagba Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. Mine is an appeal because of the mood in the House now that this bill be stepped down for when we have all our leaders seated, so that they can also contribute to the debates. I want to appeal that if you look today now, most of the leaders are on their way to Jigawa State to commiserate with them. Because of the sensitive nature of this bill, my appeal is for us to step it down and let us have a full house and full time to discuss this bill. We cannot rush it. The way we want to rush it, it may not even get the result that we want the bill to achieve. I'm not saying the bill should not go. All I'm saying is that let us have time to discuss it in full. As I'm speaking to you, I have not seen the details of the bill. So, and for us to be able to contribute meaningfully, we need the details of this bill. Without the details of the bill, if you are talking, you are only talking to the air. Maybe it's different from those sections you are quoting in the Constitution. And it may not have any issue to deal with it. Let us have the details of this bill so that we digest it and come back another day for the debate. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues.
No matter how you look at it, our diversity is what defines us. So when issues like this come up, it must be thoroughly looked into and should not be done in a haste. Let me ask you, how many of you have copies of this bill? If you have, I would like to know the percentage of people who have copies of this bill. And you can, if I ask you about one or two paragraphs, you read it for me. if I appoint you now, say, give me 2-3 paragraphs in that bill, and you're able to mention it to us, it means that you have it. Let me ask you, if you know you don't have a copy, raise your hand. And it is the rule of this house that you must have a copy so that you debate from that copy. If you say you have a copy, I'll call you now and I'll ask you questions on some of the paragraphs and the sections he's referring to. You will not be able to answer it. And this issue is an issue that we need to thoroughly analyze.
Please, order, please.
It is our rule that issues like this, we must have copies we look at. And if the copies are not there, we take another step. But I won't be taking that step from this chair. It will come from the House. So if the majority of people say they don't have copies of this, whether it is good or bad, you don't have the copies. You need to have the copies for us to deliberate on it. Let me hear you, Nkem Kama.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Kama Nkem Kama is my name. I represent the awesome people of Ohozara, Onitsha, and Iwe Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, this motion is a very sensitive one. This bill is a very sensitive one. And before this bill can be talked about here or debated, one, I believe that all of us here should have a copy of this bill to look at it and be able to go through it because of the sensitivity of this particular bill, sir. Mr. Speaker, I don't envy you today, but one thing I'm very sure, I hereby move that this bill...
Please, somebody has the floor. Allow him to finish. Then we'll recognize you.
And I have the position of the Speaker. I hereby move that this bill be stepped down today and let it be shared for all of us to have a look at before further action can be taken on this bill. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I represent Andoni Opobo Nkoro Federal Constituency. I am a Rivers man. Mr. Speaker, my very distinguished colleagues, recall that just yesterday I had a bill to alter a section of the Nigerian Constitution as well. And concerns were raised that portion was well crafted in the interest of the peace and unity of this country. That amendment should be stepped down. It took just the Speaker presiding yesterday to step down that bill. One common interest for the peace, unity of this country. This is similar to what we did yesterday, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, for that same singular purpose of the unity of this country, the peace and stability of all of us, I second this motion, since it has gotten to this point, that this bill be stepped down for this moment so that we can do elaborate engagement and get back to it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Move a second.
Point of order, sir.
You throw the question open to the House. So we'll vote now.
Point of order, sir.
Please, don't order when the Speaker is speaking. You don't order him. You can only order when others are speaking.
Point of order.
So when what we'll do...
Point of order, you should take it. Mr. Speaker, point of order. You shouldn't ignore us. Please.
Please. Can you hear Mr. Speaker first, please? Now, the motion here is that it be stepped down. You can say no. If the vote say no, don't step it down. Mr. Speaker has no right to step it down. But the motion has been moved and seconded. If we say
our laws are very clear, Mr. Speaker. When there is a point of order, we should take
speaking.
Please. I am the one.
No. Please sit down, please. Sit down. When we vote and the vote says no, we don't step it down, we vote on the main issue raised by the bill. After all, it's a constitutional matter. He can also go to, Manu, don't be unruly, please.
No, I'm not being unruly.
We can also vote on it and it will go to constitutional review. You understand? And then if it goes to constitutional review, we call public hearing. So there are so many ways to solve this problem. Let's not leave our procedure. Okay? So let me ask the question. Those in support that it be stepped down, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. How do we measure the decibel? Let me ask again. Those in support that it be stepped down, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it. That this be read the second time. Say aye. Those against, say nay. Nay!
This one is clear.
The nays have it. All right, it's good to vote on these things and then decide thereafter. It's not my decision, it's your decision. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker.
Many of you are not aware that the 1999 Constitution, as amended, was amended to the favor of Sharia law. They brought in the Sharia law into the Constitution of Nigeria. Now, if the Sharia law was brought into the Constitution during 1999 amendment nonsense that they were doing, do you now remember when the terrorist attack and the killings, the Christian genocide started? 2001. And I said 1999 was when they were doing the amendment. So they amended the constitution, restructured Nigeria by putting the Sharia law into it. Then the massacre of Christians and attacks in diverse ways started in 2001. So the embedding of the Sharia law in the Nigerian constitution gave the license to the genocide of Christians, gave the license to the genocide of every other religion that do not abide with the Sharia law. But I have a question for all of you. Do you have Christian law embedded in the Nigerian constitution? Do you have Jewish law embedded in the Nigerian constitution? Do you have traditional law embedded in the Nigerian constitution? You don't have. The same constitution says that they don't have to make any religion to be a standing point or a pronouncement for the constitution, that religion should not be something as a cardinal point. Religion should not be a decisive role in the constitution, but they have made the Sharia law to be the cardinal point in the constitution of Nigeria. I am connecting this very opera in their lawmakers' chambers to the decision of the US government. I want all of you to understand that BRGI have been able to make, Biafrans have been able to make the American government to understand the dangerous and the destructive diversity that has caused the genocide of babies, women, and children. We've been able to make them to know, and they have dug in, they have investigated to see where the problem is. That same problem is facing America today. That same problems is facing UK today. That same problem is facing Europe. That same problem is facing the entire world, where you have all these terrorist sects. That same problem is the reason why you hear that American government have taken it upon themselves to crack down on these people that are talking about the Sharia law. BRGI have been able to make America to understand and identify how the Christian genocide emanates from Nigeria. What has given the Nigerian terrorist government the grounds, the guarantee, the security to carry out the genocide on Christians and other indigenous persons without the government having the right to stand up to bomb and to eliminate all those people that are carrying out the genocide. It is because they gave them the right in their constitution. For you to have allowed the Sharia law to be constituted in the Nigerian constitution as amended in 1999, that was the license. That was the license. That is how the terrorist attack, the massacre and genocide came to be. That is why and how you will see that in the north, you have the Sharia law. They now permit them to have Hisbah police. But you, in the south, you are asking for state policing. They don't allow you to implement it. But they give them their own state policing, which is the Hisbah police. But they don't allow you to do your own state policing in the south. They have already given them the power and the mandate in the constitution of Nigeria. That is where the entire problem starts from. That is where they gave them the guarantee. If you listen to one of them here, he said, this is why our people sent them to these hallowed chambers, so that they will come here and fight and integrate these their laws into the constitution. So when the law finds its way and sit down comfortably inside the constitution, whatever they are doing, they will make reference to their standard inside the constitution of Nigeria. That the constitution of Nigeria has given them provisions to carry out their personal ethics based on their religion of choice. And it is standing inside the constitution of Nigeria. But you don't see such law allowing you in the south to have community policing, to even have your own security network or your vigilante, and then you are looking for a license to arm those groups. They refuse to give you. Have you all forgotten that Governor Autumn of Benue State, when these terrorists, the terrorists that are emanating from this Sharia group, were coming to kill and maim the people of Benue, Governor Autumn recruited and mobilized vigilante men and women in Benue State, and then walked down to the federal government of Nigeria and said, grant me license for the vigilante group, the community policing that I have created, to carry arms. Just license. And the government of Benue State will control it and supervise it. They refuse. Why? Because they know you are going to use that arms to go after their terrorist brothers that are enacting and implementing the Sharia law in your communities. Is the law supposed to be implemented in a community where the people are not practicing the Sharia? No, it is supposed to be implemented in the communities where everybody are abiding in the Sharia. But they have to take that their law, spread their wings, force you and try to engulf the entire landmarks. They continue spreading out from their own small place. They want to spread out and spread out and spread out to your own lands. When they come, they want to conquer you, kill you, eliminate you, and take your lands. Kill you, eliminate you, and take your lands. I want you guys to listen to this again. Listen to this again before I continue, because the American government have come to understand something. Yes. The American government take time to study and see what they have to uncover. It took time to watch and see. And then they now understand, okay, it is the same problem that the Biafran people are going through. It is the same problem that the Christians in Nigeria have been going through since 2001, after Nigerian government allowed Sharia to enter their constitution. That is what these people want to bring to America. Then look at what American lawmakers are doing.
The United States of America. I want to thank my colleague and fellow Florida Representative, Representative Mauro Diaz-Balart, for leading this important and timely bill to sanction the Muslim Brotherhood and restrict its ability to operate within the United States of America. For years, our partners across the Middle East have been warning of the threat of this organization and what it poses. Initially established in Egypt in the late 1920s, it's grown into a transnational organization with chapters around the world. This is more than just a political organization. It promotes extreme and destabilizing views which continue to inspire acts of terrorism across the globe, including most notably Hamas and its horrific October 7, 2023 attack on Israel, in which 1,200 civilians were killed, over 1,200. And as the Trump administration noted in its recent executive order, these links were further underscored after October 7, 2023, when the Lebanese chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood worked hand in glove with Hamas, Hezbollah, and other Palestinian terrorists to launch direct attacks against Israel, furthering its October 7 aim. More recently, a Muslim Brotherhood affiliate in Jordan was implicated in a plot to destabilize this critical regional security partner. The plot, according to Jordanian government officials, similarly involved members of the Muslim Brotherhood's Lebanon chapter who were reportedly manufacturing weapons and training militants to target sites in Jordan, which, if successful, would have been a substantial blow to the Jordanian people and a major counterterrorist risk. For too long, the threat the Muslim Brotherhood poses to U.S. national security has been downplayed here in the United States, and it's well past time for course correction. I urge my colleagues to robustly support this bill and finally put in place much-needed measures to address this very real and increasingly prevalent threat.
Now listen to the second one.
By Representatives Mario Diaz. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I speak in support of H.R. 4397, the Muslim Brotherhood Terrorist Designation Act of 2025, led by Representatives Mario Diaz-Balart and Jared Moskowitz. This bill would designate the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign terrorist organization and establish a process for designating its members, branches, and affiliates as terrorists. The bill amends the Anti-Terrorism Act and treats the Muslim Brotherhood in the same manner that the PLO, the Palestinian Palestine Liberation Organization was treated during the height of its terrorist activities. It would prohibit Americans from transacting with the Brotherhood and prevent its members from entering the United States. This legislation would codify key elements of President Trump's recent executive order and provide a permanent statutory framework to address the ongoing threat posed by the Muslim Brotherhood and its violent offshoots. Despite its efforts to present itself as a mainstream political or social movement, the Muslim Brotherhood and its affiliates are rooted in an extremist ideology with a long history of supporting terrorism. Founded in 1928 by Hassan el-Banna in Egypt, the Brotherhood's stated goal from the beginning was to establish a global caliphate based on Islamic supremacy, to restructure societies and governments according to its interpretation of Sharia, and to advance a radical agenda. When I was stationed in Egypt under Mubarak, Mubarak was still there, he had Egyptian armed forces kick down doors and simply shoot who was in the room, Muslim Brotherhood. While the Brotherhood often maintains plausible deniability, many of its branches and affiliates provide the ideological justification, financial support, and recruitment pipelines for jihadist violence. The Brotherhood has directly inspired or supported terrorist organizations, including Hamas and Al-Qaeda. Its influence extends across the Middle East, Europe, and into the United States. The violence and instability it has fueled has already led Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the UAE, and Egypt to ban the organization outright. This bill would bring U.S. policy into alignment with our key regional partners. More importantly, the Muslim Brotherhood provides material support to U.S.-designated terrorist organizations. That fact is not speculation. It is documented in the Brotherhood's own internal strategy papers, including the 1991 explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America, a document that was seized by the FBI in 2004 and admitted as evidence in the Holy Land Foundation terrorism financing trial. That document, written by a senior Muslim Brotherhood leader in the United States, explicitly describes the Brotherhood's work here as a kind of, and I quote, kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house so that Islam is made victorious over all other religions and civilizations. It lists dozens of Brotherhood front organizations operating in the United States and outlines a long-term plan to infiltrate and undermine American institutions through a, quote, civilization jihadist process. That's the Muslim Brotherhood's own description of its mission on American soil, in its own words, recovered by our law enforcement. The threat that this violent Sharia extremist group opposes to America is clear. The evidence is overwhelming, and the time to act is now. Designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization is long overdue, and I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 4397, and I yield back.
Now, American governments have been able to identify the same problem that we, the Biafran people, are complaining about. And as they identify, what do? They are taking a very rapid and drastic action. They're not waiting for anybody to come and debate and to think twice, because this thing started since 2001. And since 2001, coming down to this day, the numbers of babies, women, and children that have been massacred has outnumbered 100,000 from Nigeria. And nobody has been held accountable. So it's just like America sleep now and wake up and see that 95% of those same terrorists have their allies inside America. When American government now say they are urging Nigerian government to scrap Sharia law and disband Hisbah police, It means you have a condition to either allow the countries to split into pieces, allow those that want to walk away to walk away, or you contract everybody together and then you kill all of them. Yes, there's a solution on the table. It is a bet on the table. Do you want to have your people alive? Do you want to see continue with your Nigeria that you say is Nigeria? Then demolish and destroy the terrorist cult, because there is a terrorist cult. And you license this cult inside your constitution. That is the beginning problem. You see, when you're looking for the solution to a problem, or when you want to solve a problem, try to go and find the genesis of the problem. What is the genesis of Nigeria's genocidal tendencies? What is the genesis of the massacre, the takeover of lands, the kidnapping, the annihilation, the cutting off of heads of babies, women, and children? What are they looking for, and what gave room to it? Before 1999, that they did not have this Sharia in the Nigerian constitution, was there a license that anybody will wake up and carry AK-47 and come and cut off heads of babies, women, and children in some communities, and then the government will overlook and let them go? No. Before, when they did not put Sharia in the constitution, anybody that carries out such act, they will fire the person on a barrel. That person will be tied up to a drum and will be fired to death. A thief, armed robber will be tied to a drum and fired to death. But when they now embedded the Sharia inside the Nigerian constitution, the interpretation of the Sharia law does not permit you to penalize the people carrying out the Sharia, because you have given them the license by legalizing Sharia inside Nigerian constitution. It's just like American government now. They now carry Sharia law and put inside American constitution, or they adopt a bill that every ethics and standard of the Sharia is now adopted to be part and parcel of the law of America. So the day you wear short skirt, where your panties is showing out from your short skirt, according to the Sharia law, they will have to cut off your legs. So you now see that legs of babies, legs of girls will be cut off in America, because you have adopted Sharia law into the system. You will now see that Christians will now be termed as infidels. So they will say the Sharia law gives the power to these terrorist sects to rape a girl, to rape a woman, to rape a man, to rape anything that is not also practicing the Sharia law. Why is it not stipulated in that their Sharia law that they have the right to rape their own fellow people that are practicing the same religion with them? Why must it be stated that they have the right to rape another person that is not part of their Sharia ethics? Why? So you see that you have demonized every other person. You people that now bring up the Sharia law, you now become a god. You make yourself a god. Everybody now becomes slaves to you. What kind of life is this? Do you know that if you allow these people to foster, that they will turn this wall into bush overnight. You see them speaking here inside these their red and green chambers. And they tend to speak English. Some of them say, I attended Ahmadu Bello University, I attended so university, I attended so. But this their Sharia forbids Western education. It forbids Western life. It forbids industrialization. It forbids development. It forbids breakthrough. What they do is to destroy, but not to build. So American government have now reviewed and see that if truly they want the indigenous persons in Nigeria to be alive, there is a dysfunction that was created which has caused all these problems. And that dysfunction is embedded in their constitution. The moment that they made the mistake of allowing Sharia law, Hisbah, police, to become part and parcel of Nigerian constitution, that means you have broken the secular state's allegiance and constitution. You have already restructured yourself and created a new emirate for yourself. You see, in Nigeria, what you have is that there are two different countries inside Nigeria. Yes, there are two different countries inside Nigeria. One country is practicing Sharia law, while the other country is practicing something else. And that other country now is not even practicing Christianity or practicing Jewish or practicing Oduduwa religion or traditional religion. That other country is mixed and they don't know what they are practicing. But the northern part of Nigeria, the northern emirate, they have already restructured a country for themselves. All the northern region, all the northern states, they have all signed and adopted the Sharia law. So this is another emirate entirely. And because they have done this, they now want to shift the territory. They want to shift the boundary to spread that their ideology to cover the entire land in this contraption, not minding your own ethics, not minding your own religion, not minding your own tradition. They want to forcefully implement it on you. And as you refuse, they cut off your head. They invade your communities. They kill your babies, women, and children. What is the crime of the babies, women, and children that have been killed in Benue? What is the crime of the babies, women, and children that have been killed in Zamfara? What is the crime of the babies, women, and children that have been killed in Borno? The people of these states are at the mercy of these terrorists, and they have taken over their lands. They are sending them out to IDP camps. And then you keep on coming to sit down in the National Assembly and be speaking grammar and be code mixing and switching, trying to see who speak best and how many people will be there before you speak. When you guys have already done the mistake is that you have already sold Nigeria to the Sharia Caliphate. And that happened when you people restructured the constitution. And Christianity was not adopted as anything as a cardinal point. But you people adopted Sharia and put inside the constitution and gave all the powers to the Sharia law. How many of you have asked yourself the question, why is America? Why is America? Not talking about something else. America is now going into or pronouncing into Nigerian constitution. Have you asked yourself that very simple question? Is America supposed to go into your constitution? Aha! Are you supposed to go into America constitution? That's the question you need to ask yourself. But before America could go that far to be talking about their constitution, they have come to see that why and how the babies, women, and children of the Christendom and the traditional worshippers and every other religion are massacred in their sleeps. It is because of the Sharia law that they carry and institutionalize inside their constitution. So that gives them the power. Even many of them here inside this place that you see, they can't condemn the jihad that is happening. They can't condemn the Christian genocide because they are binded by the Sharia law and the Sharia ethics. All of them from all the northern states, they are binded by that Sharia. They oblige to whatever the jihadist terrorists are doing. Those ones that they call jihadist terrorists or they call bandits, they say that it is stipulated in their Sharia law, in their Sharia book, that when a time comes that young Islamic terrorists will be waking up to wage war, that they will kill people, rape, maim, and destroy and take over communities. So they are backing it up with their pamphlet to tell you that it is part of the fulfillment of what is in their book. So when you see them stand up here now, it's like they foresaw what God was using Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to do by preaching and telling everybody in Nigeria that this is what these people are planning, that very soon they will come out very open. They did this debate last year. This debate you see here happened last year. And then they now wanted to push in again because they saw what was coming. They saw what we were doing in America. They saw that America will very soon put their eyes to dig in to uncover where their secrecy is coming from. That is why you see they wanted to do more into this constitution again, to come and review and gain more power and put more matters inside so that they will gain more authority. So that by the time you will speak today, they will tell you the Nigerian constitution gives them the right to do even more. Yes, that it is in fulfillment of the Nigerian constitution according to the Sharia law. So now, this is a rhetoric question. Are you ready to ban Sharia law and Hisbah police before we allow Nigeria to breathe as one? It is a rhetoric question, and it demands a rhetoric answer. So the question is yes or no. If you are ready to disband it, that means we will not come and crush your terrorists. Then as you disband it, we will help you to fix your Nigeria. If you're not ready to disband it, then that means Nigeria is the worst place for a Christian to live in the entire world. So the solution is divide Nigeria, allow the Christian state to go to where they can stay and be safe. Then allow the Sharia law state to go to their own way and stay. Then you don't cross boundary. You don't cross boundary. Have you seen how Biafra is coming on the table? Yes. I want to ask you, this is how Nigeria is going to be divided as national cake on the table. Use knife, divide it, cut it to pieces, and let everybody carry their own side of the cake and go. Yes, it is in fulfillment. It is either you agree, which Nigerian terrorist government knows how important the Sharia law is to them. They can never agree. They would rather want to fight this war to the end and to call all their terrorist Sharia countries to come in and join them. And America will not stand idly by to watch how the Christian sect will be eliminated. No, this is a war that has been declared on Christians. And Nigeria will happen to be the incubator. Yes, it will happen to be the military base of the terrorists, where they will all assemble to gather the resources that are available in Nigeria and the indigenous population land. They will use it to launch the attack on America, launch the attack on Europe, launch the attack to the outside world. That message that we have been telling them has come to be. And I can see that the present dispensation of the American lawmakers, they are already seeing it staring them to the face. Yes, that is why you see the lawmakers of America sitting down proscribing these Sharia law groups. So if they have started proscribing these Sharia law groups inside America, what do you think they would do to the same Sharia law group that has massacred babies, women, and children in Nigeria? Numbers that has gone more than 150,000 since 2001, and nobody's talking about it. In this very time, we've been able to make America to know and to bring out all the reportage that they knew and they had before without pushing it to the media for the attention of everybody. Does it shock you that for the past 10 years and 15 years, that Mike Arnold, who is doing protests in America today for Christian genocide, Mike Arnold, who Reno Mockery took to Nigeria to go and give testimony about Christian genocide, they took him there to go and lie, but on getting there, God held him on the neck. But do you know that Mike Arnold, for the past 10 years, has been running NGO in Nigeria? And he is aware of all this genocide. He has all the reportage. But why didn't he bring them forth? Why didn't he launch them out for review for the American government to dig into it? You see, there are some people that go to Nigeria, they see the skeleton of your babies. They see the skull of your father that was killed by Boko Haram terrorists. They walk past, they put their legs on it, they carry it, they look, and then they decide to capitalize on that your death. They open business on top of that your death. Then they start doing business. They start doing business. That is what has happened to Mike Arnold. Let me see if I can see him on the this thing. Then I will post. I will bring this thing to the screen. This man has been going to Nigeria and owns NGO. He has been operating business in Nigeria for the past how many years? He has been seeing all the massacres of babies, women, and children. So the question is, Mike Arnold, why didn't you open the Pandora box against the massacre of Christians for how many years that you have been visiting Nigeria? Why did you have to wait until when you saw that BRGIE have carried it on their head? This man you people see here, some of you don't know that there are people that actually come to Nigeria to feed fat on your dead bodies. See this man here? Let me see if there's a place they will play this thing so that the thing will drag his face closer for many of you to see. Here is Mark Arnold here. He's the one doing protests in Washington, D.C. for Christian genocide, carrying the Nigerian flag. And this protest is not aiming at destroy the terrorists of Nigeria, destroy the caliphate. He is talking for one unity of Nigeria. Because he has a business that he is benefiting from. He doesn't want you to talk Biafra. He doesn't want you to talk Oduduwa. He doesn't want you to talk Arewa. He doesn't want you to talk about the solution of Nigeria so that the lives of babies, women, and children can be saved. No. He wants you to pack the dead bodies, pile one place, and continue to move on with Nigeria so that his business will continue to prosper. You have been going to Nigeria for the past 10 years. You have seen the genocide and you know what is happening, but you have not come out to bring this reportage to the entire world for them to look into it. Until now. What do you call those kind of people? Selfish or self-centered? People that only go for their businesses. There are many of them like Mike Arnold, like this. More of them. So if BRGIE, if Senator Ted Cruz, if all the lawmakers of US did not amplify on the Christian persecution, so if those that actually brought the story out did not, if BRGI did not push and hold a congressional testimony, and Michael Rubin did not expatiate on the Christian genocide, making you to understand, because somebody like Mike Arnold here is one of the people that will come back to America and say that the Christian genocide in Nigeria is caused by climate change. Because he is making money from the situation. So when they are coming to say it's climate change, that is climate change that is causing the genocide, that is climate change that is causing the killing of people, it is people like Mike Arnold because he is benefiting his business from there. So he wants to see more people killed by the terrorists so that he will now enjoy his NGO. Yes, he will now continue to make more money from his NGO. They will now come and say a IDP camp is to be built with 1 million. They will collect the money, while they will build it with only 500,000. You see? So with this now, it is opportunity for them to enrich themselves. Why are you giving way for more IDP camps to come instead of you to launch attack and destroy the people that are creating IDP camps? Why are you giving more opportunity for more IDP camps to come? You know the people that are causing the people to die, that are taking over their lands, which is necessitating the emergence of IDP camps. So why are you now taking pleasure in building more IDP camps? Why are you taking pleasure in building more NGOs so that you will benefit from the situation instead of you to launch attack to destroy those people that are actually making you to come and have more IDP camps? So American government has given Nigeria the bags. And now the question is, are you ready to disband? Are you ready to disband these terrorist groups? If you're not ready, then allow all the emerging nations to walk away so that they can be alive. So, if you are a Biafran, you have to understand that Biafra is here. Yes, Biafra is here if you are a Biafran. And what you have to do is to wake up from your sleep and come and support Biafra. Yes, this thing is happening like dream. It is happening in a simultaneous and a systematic manner, in a surprising manner. You wake up, you saw Biafrans in Washington, D.C. The next thing you woke up, you see that American government are working on all those points, all those policies that Biafra government in Israel were putting on those lists for them. We talked about sanction Nigeria. We talked about designate Nigeria as country of particular concern. We talked about hold Nigeria accountable for Christian persecutions in those congressional testimonies, both the one we submitted officially on paper and the ones that we also did in the Congress, with the live testimony which all Biafrans testified, and Michael Rubin was there. You get the message. And now, American government have responded to your request. They have designated Nigeria as country of particular concern. That was one of the points that you raised for them to do. You also asked for the invocation or the implementation of the Accountability Magnitsky Act. It has been implemented. They are holding Nigerian terrorist government officials accountable now, and they are placing sanctions on them. They are also placing high tariffs on Nigerian government. They are also placing sanctions on Nigeria on many things. These are all what you demanded of American government. It is a step in direction to shrink this very contraption of one Nigeria, so that it will be possible for everyone that is ready to move themselves out of the contraption. Now, the next step now is that American government is going straight into the root cause of the problem and telling them, we see that this is the root cause of the problem. If you want us to have any negotiations with you or to even help you in any way, show us that you are ready to destroy the terrorists by going to remove and scrap the Sharia law we should put inside the constitution. If Nigerian government are ready to do this one, and that means Biafra will not go. If Nigerian government are ready to do this one, it means there will be no Oduduwa tomorrow. Nigerian government are ready to do this one. It means there will be no Ariwa tomorrow. But you know what? For Nigerian government to have put Sharia law into Nigerian constitution and now have already a separate state inside Nigeria, a different rule and a different country governing themselves with their standard and patterns, while the remaining part of the country, they leave it for a different law to be practiced. So the people of the North are not binded by Nigerian constitution. They are not subject to it. What they are subject to is the Sharia law. So don't use the Nigerian constitution to penalize or to call any Northerner to order. No. The only thing you can use to call any Northerner to order is the Sharia law. That is their own law. That is their own constitution. If you go and start reading Nigerian constitution to them, you're wasting your time. Their senators are only here to make sure that Sharia law is not removed from that constitution. They are from Genesis to Revelation, from January to December, that Sharia law continue to remain inside there, and they want to even push it further to gain more strength. But if it comes to time of punishment, or time of let us implement this law, no, they will say it is the one, according to the way that law is talking in their Sharia law, that is how they are going to administer that pattern. Are you getting the point? That all of you are dancing from Calabar to Akwa Ibom, to Rivers State, to Niger State, to Benue, to Enugu, to Ebonyi, to Abia, Anambra, the Delta, Benue, Zamfara, and you're shouting, one Nigeria, one Nigeria, one Nigeria, one Nigeria. While Nigeria has already been restructured and then divided into two, they have a different law that is ruling these people, which they imbibing. So when they cut off your heads and invade your communities, have you asked why the federal government of Nigeria or these people seated in these law chambers, why is it hard for them to bring out the sponsors of the terrorists? What law will they break when they bring out the sponsors of the terrorists? So that means the massacre of over 150,000 babies, women, and children, it doesn't mean anything to Nigerian constitution, doesn't mean anything to the Nigerian lawmakers. They would rather protect their money that they sit down there to collect than for them to have empathy and sympathy on the lives of babies, women, and children that have been slaughtered. So they will protect the Nigerian constitution because they have put Sharia law inside. So we want to see if Nigeria will abolish the Sharia law and also disband the Hisbah police. But as you know them, God says, Pharaoh, let my people go. They refuse. The same God will harden the heart of Pharaoh. Yes, he will harden the heart of Pharaoh until Pharaoh will use his hand to destroy himself with all his descendants. Yes, that is what is going to happen. They will not disband, they will not scrap Sharia law. They will not disband or scrap Hisbah police. No, or anything Hisbah that is implementing Sharia law. They will not do it. So, as they will not do it, that is a quick way for every indigenous persons that have been contract in Nigeria to have their easy way to work out. If some of you don't know some of the things that this Hisbah police and this Sharia law has been doing, this Sharia law has been destroying every alcoholic beverages. Every beverages that do not go in their pattern or their way of life. Because according to that, their book, according to the Sharia law, they tell them you must go and destroy all alcoholic drinks. It is from these same alcoholic drinks that money is being made and extracted and used to pay them, that you see them having all these pot bellies and having big heads. Without the money that is generated from the alcoholics drinks, from the refineries and from the breweries, they will not have salary. But they mandate them to go and destroy these things. They go to people's shops where they have this kind of materials to sell, they destroy. Where there is bar, where there is hotel, or where there is motel, where there is restaurant, or where there is reservation houses, where there is a place that you can go and then sleep and then rest your head when you are on travel or on transit. They come, they rake all those places. Somebody that do anything that they don't want to do, you cut off your hand, cut off your leg. They say it is part of the punishment of Sharia law. So many now Gideon Akaloka, that was beheaded and his head was hung on a spike. Was it not an acclaimed message or misinformation that because he was a Christian and that the wife had torn one part of the pamphlet of their teaching book, the Quran, to clean something on the floor? So because of that, somebody that stood and saw it and gave the statement, that amounts to blasphemy, that you have to kill the person to death. You have to stone the person, you have to burn the person to death. What kind of barbaric law is this? So tell me how Christians can cohabit. Because when you listen to Kalu here was saying, oh, our diversity is our strength. In as much as it is difficult, our diversity is our strength. It is what unites us. How can something of that nature be uniting you? How can you say that somebody do a mistake and then cut something to use to clean something on the floor, and then that warrant to stone the person to death? What kind of diversity is that? What kind of lifestyle is that? So if you have not been a victim of the Hisbah nonsense or the Sharia law, please ask those that have been, sorry, ask those that have been victims. All right, we have to shut down the program now, and I see you all tomorrow. They will from here, and keep your fingers crossed, because the American government has given you the opportunity to do everything that you have to do to get your freedom. Nigeria has been put on one chance, and this is the time that every Biafran have to do what they have to do. So wake up now and give, yeah, and give all your support. That is what is needed of you, because Nigerian terrorist government will not disband or scrap their Sharia law or their Hisbah police. So they would rather fight to the end. And that simply means Nigeria has become the most dangerous place for any Christian to live. So the solution is that instead of you allowing Christians to cohabit with Sharia people that will cut off their heads, yes, because if they disobey their Sharia, which they implement against them, they'll cut off their heads, rape them, take over their lands, cut off their legs, cut off their hands. So it's better you take out those Christians for them to live alone than you allow these people that want to practice their Sharia to practice it on their own, so that they don't come and force it on another person against their will. That's the solution. American government has given Nigeria a two-way solution. Either you continue to keep your Nigeria as one, or you share it into pieces with knife as cake, so that everybody will carry their own share and go. So continue asking, will Nigerian terrorist government abolish or scrap Sharia law and Ishba groups? They will not do it. So that simply means It is the emergence of the new nations that have come to be on the table. So like play, you are seeing how Biafra is coming to be. Conditions that will be given to America on the table that are very simple for them to meet, which they will not be able to meet. And that is how you will see that since you cannot meet these conditions, since you are not ready for these people to live and let live, then you have to let them to go. You have to allow them to go their separate ways, because you in the north already have and is practicing a separate law which is not compatible with the people in this part of the south. So for there not to be continuous conflict and existential threat, simply go and practice your Sharia law, then allow the Christian Biafrans to go and practice their Christian law. The same thing that you see that American lawmakers are doing now. Proscribing these terrorist Sharia group people in America. That's what they are doing. So instead of them to allow them to cohabit and infiltrate and then allow another 9/11 to come and happen, no, they have seen it ahead. So they are standing up to stop it now. That is what you need to understand. I salute all Biafrans. So be joyful, come in and support your Biafra freedom, because the hour is now and you have seen everything on the table playing out. Always try to be on the winning side. Yes, where you see that are making things happen. Don't be a loser, because losers will never have anything to take home. But winners will always be smiling home, just like we are smiling now. I salute all of you. Ndewo Umu Chineke. From here and from me, it is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to all of you.
Representative of China. I resume my function as President of the Council. I now give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for chairing this important meeting. Thank you to our briefers, Secretary General Guterres, and ECOWAS Commission President Dr. Touré. Colleagues, as we speak, Al-Qaeda-affiliated terrorists in the Sahel have paralyzed Mali with a fuel blockade. Colleagues, the situation is dire there. We see Al-Qaeda aiming to take over the entire country. The United States acknowledges the counterterrorism efforts of the Malian armed forces against these and other terrorist organizations such as ISIS, Sahel, but the situation is worsening quickly. We remained deeply concerned about the incidents of kidnapping, the incidents of hostage-taking across the Sahel as a means to finance these terrorist activities. Unfortunately, since the veto of the UN sanctions regime in 2023, it has been deeply disappointing to see Mali's security situation continue to deteriorate. That decision removed critical tools from the international community that it relied on to promote accountability and to promote stability. And the result has been an uptick, a massive surge in violence, has been a shrinking space for dialogue and growing risk for civilians across the country and across the region. The terrorist threats are not only intensifying, they are spreading, they are shifting southward, as evidenced by the terrorist attacks we've seen in Benin and Togo. But particularly, the United States is concerned and outraged by the ongoing slaughter of thousands of Christians in Nigeria by various ethnic militias in the Middle Belt, as well as terrorists like Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa in the north. It is tragic and it is unacceptable. Churches are burning, villages are being razed, thousands are killed, clergy murdered simply for wearing a cross, for being a Christian, for daring to say they worship Jesus as Christ. Just yesterday, 25 little girls were kidnapped from their school and one school official murdered trying to protect them from MAGA Comprehensive Girls Secondary School in Kebbi State. Colleagues, this is happening. It's undeniable, and it's unacceptable. The United States condemns these attacks in the strongest terms, and it demands accountability. And as President Trump has made clear, we will not stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria. The government of Nigeria must take immediate steps and do more to increase security, respond to early warnings, end impunity, and address the drivers of violence. And colleagues, we need to see African leadership on these matters, and we need to see a coordinated response among all countries in the region. The situation is critical. The United States will continue to work with regional partners to counter these common threats. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank